In this video, we will be looking at the physical and chemical properties of the Group 1 metals. The Group 1 elements are found in the first column on the left-hand side of the periodic table. The elements have some properties that are similar, but also some properties that gradually change as you go down the group. By studying the first three elements, lithium, sodium, and potassium, we can learn enough about the patterns or trends to be able to make predictions about how the other ones behave. They react in a similar way as they all have one electron in the outer shell. The common name for the group is the alkali metals, and they are the most reactive metals in the periodic table. You can tell that they are metallic elements by their shiny, silvery appearance when they are freshly cut and the fact that they can conduct electricity. However, what sets them apart from other metals is that they are much softer and lower in density and melting point than other metals. You need to know the trends in two physical properties. Melting point increases going up the group, and density increases going down the group. Make sure you reference the trend change by referencing this to the group. So you need to say melting point decreases down the group. We can look at the reaction with water to give us a trend in reactivity for the Group 1 elements. In general, all the Group 1 elements react with water to give the metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas. However, there are distinct differences as we go down the group. Lithium floats and fizzes gently as it moves around the surface. The products are lithium hydroxide and hydrogen. The equations for the Group 1 metals reacting with water will all follow the same pattern. The next metal down the group is sodium. When it reacts with water, it melts into a ball on the surface and reacts rapidly, creating a lot of heat. It is this heat that melts the sodium, creating a molten ball. Again, the metal hydroxide, in this case sodium hydroxide, and hydrogen gas are formed. In Group 1, potassium is below sodium. When potassium reacts with water, it immediately melts, catches fire, and skims around on the surface of the water, reacting vigorously. The hydroxide products of these reactions make the water strongly alkaline, which is why they get their name, the alkaline metals. From these observations, you can see that the metals are becoming more reactive down the group. One thing you need to remember is that potassium will burn with a lilac flame. Universal indicator is added to the glass trough after the reaction. This shows us that the soluble Group 1 metal hydroxide has a pH above 7 and is therefore alkaline. As the Group 1 hydroxides are soluble, the state symbol required in the symbol equation is AQ. Let's now have a look at some example exam questions. This is a multiple choice question, which gives you a table and some data. Here you are asked to determine which Group 1 element is furthest down the group. You know that melting point decreases down the group, so we are looking for an element with the lowest melting point. To confirm, you know that density generally increases down the group, so we are looking for the highest density. Therefore, it cannot be A, C or D. So B is the correct option. This is only worth 1 mark given that it's a multiple choice question. There are 2 parts to this question, so be careful to answer both. Having looked at the reactions of lithium, sodium and potassium, you know that the reactivity increases down the group. So the reaction of rubidium with water will be even more explosive. Making reference to a vigorous reaction will score you the 1st mark. The equations follow the same pattern. All that changes is the metal. You know the general equation. Group 1 metal plus water gives metal hydroxide and hydrogen. So rubidium hydroxide and hydrogen are formed in this reaction. You know the correct formulas, and now you need to balance it. The hydrogen atoms are not balanced, so you need a 2 in front of the water, and now for the rubidium hydroxide. Finally, to balance the rubidium atoms, you need to place a 2 in front of it. In the question, you have not been asked for state symbols, so they are not needed to score the final mark. In summary, you need to know that down the group, the melting point decreases, density increases, they become easier to cut, and the reactivity increases. The general equation for the group 1 metals reacting with water is the group 1 metal plus water gives metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas. The symbol equation follows the same pattern down the group. The only thing that changes is the metal itself. Don't forget to check out all our other fantastic revision resources here at Save My Exams.